Uh-oh, guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Huh? Anybody? Julie, hey, guess what day it is? Oh, come on, I know you can hear me. Mike. What day is it, Mike? Leslie, guess what today is?
It's hump day.
Woo-hoo! Hump day, yeah!
Hello, YouTube. I'm back. It's another Wednesday. It's another hump day. Thank you so much for spending a little bit of time with me tonight. I always appreciate it, always enjoy it when we get to chat and share together. I'm already seeing some good comments in the chat. Guys, as usual, I got a pretty action-packed show for you tonight. Got a couple of little things to catch up on, and then, of course, we've got some of the bigger news, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. We had a little bit of a leak of some screenshots, well, sort of a leak of some screenshots for the Iconic Arcades UI interface. So I'm going to be showing those off to you guys tonight. I'm going to be talking about those a little bit, give you kind of my thoughts and opinions about what's going on there. Of course, we've also got AtGames. They've got a bunch of stuff going on this week. They've got 2 game packs set to release tomorrow. 1 single game for the HD and the 4K, and then of course the 3-pack, the Williams tables for the 4K. Of course, beyond that, we're also going to talk about this rumor that they are coming out with an updated version of their HD pinball table with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles theme to it. So we're going to get into all of that in just a little bit. Let's start out by saying hello to some of the people in the chat. And, of course, as always, I will try to keep up and say hi to people as the show progresses. Of course, J-Rod is here saying good evening. The B-Me is here. Always one of the first people in the chat to say hi. Always good to see the B-Me. And, yes, where was your comment before? Someone that starts on time. It's a miracle. It just so happened tonight that I was ready to go. I have had plenty of times where I have not, so I can't say that it's always the case. Biggie D is here. Of course, Jason Little Alien, always here. Always good to see you, my wonderful moderator, of course. Gramps Arcade is here. Sir Sega. Ritual Dello is here, or as he's sometimes known, Rotundo. Simon AU1UP is here. A+ for punctuality. Thank you. I appreciate that. My golf buddy, Steve Sale, is here. We're going to be talking about Walkabout Golf a little bit tonight as well. I know you are also looking forward to the new course that is coming out tomorrow. Tomorrow's a big day. Got a lot of stuff going on tomorrow. So I am definitely looking forward to that. Of course, Jason's here, too. We play a lot together, so always a lot of fun. Brooklyn Menace is here. Stick around, Brooklyn. I'm actually going to be talking about you in just a little bit, too. And trust me, it's all good. But let's jump in and let's, excuse me, let's start talking about some things. Let me get up some of my stuff that I have here. So, you know, let me switch things. I'm going to switch things around a little bit from the way I was originally going to do this. I'll start with this. So, of course, a lot of you guys know that GiJoel has released his Nintendo-themed cabs, his shell build choice, play choice, arcade cabinets, you know, whatever you guys want to call them. I did a video on that last Saturday, right after it launched. And what I really want to just say here is a huge shout out and congratulations to GiJoel for the launch of this. Because he's already seeing some incredible success. His Intech NES Play Choice Deluxe is already sold out. He at $850. This was, you know, the most expensive thing that he had on here. The fact that this thing pretty much comes ready for you to just put together, throw your NES cartridges in, and you're playing. And at 850, that was a lot to swallow. But he only had, I believe, he was only doing 10 of these to start, and he sold out of all of them. So congrats to him. Maybe he'll open this back up again later on in the future if he can get his hands on some more of those in-tech decks to do with this. And keep in mind, he is basically taking apart these in-tech decks and putting them into his own deck with the guts and whatever, in a slightly different configuration. So it's not just taking an in-tech deck and just plopping it in this. There is a little more to it than that. But congrats to him on selling out on that. And then as far as his build choice goes, he's getting close to sold out of his first run of that as well. It says here that he's only got a few left of these. So if this is something that you were hoping to jump on during the first run of these, you might want to check this out sooner rather than later. Now, again, hopefully this is something that he will continue to do as time goes on, that he will continue to make these for people, whether he does, some bulk things like this, or whether it's just more of a, as you want type of a thing. Because remember, he is just one guy doing this and putting this stuff together, so it's going to take some time for each of these. So definitely be sure that you check him out. But again, just wanted to say a huge shout out and congratulations to GiJoel. Great guy, really great work, from what I've seen on this and from what I've heard from other people who've had stuff made by him. Really good quality. So again, congrats to him. Nope, we'll get to that one in a second. Next one I wanted to talk about is GRS. And of course, we've all been talking a lot about Glenn with his Build-A-Cade FU. That's still going strong. Guys, there's just another week or so, another 10, 12 days left for the Kickstarter on the GRS Build-A-Cade. So be sure, you check that out if you're still interested in picking one up if you haven't yet. But I also wanted to point you guys towards Glenn's Thundersticks, his T-Stick Studios website, because right now he's got a big summer sale going on. And if you use code SUMMER20, you can get 20% off pretty much everything on this. I'll be honest, I haven't gone through the whole site. I don't know if there's any restrictions, if there's anything that isn't on sale. As far as I'm aware, everything on here is on sale for the Summer 20, except the Akari Rotary Joystick, which is still 40% off with the code Akari40. So you can still get that at 40% off. But anything else on the site, you could get for 20% off using code SUMMER20. So if you've been holding off on grabbing one of his products or whatever, now's a good time to do it while he's got this sale going on. I'm a little disappointed that the Vipers are sold out. I've been thinking about picking up another one of those. I'm still kind of waiting on the Viper Venom. I want to pick up one of those for myself just to have to fool around with, even if I'm not getting the Build-A-Cade FU right now. But I would definitely like to get one of his new SBC boards and play around with that. I'm even debating on swapping out the Viper that's in the KVM switcher in my iArcade for the more powerful Viper Venom. I haven't decided if that's something I'm going to do or not yet, but it's something that I'm looking forward to. I know that that's something that's getting closer and closer to release as he gets closer to finalization on the Build-A-Cade FU. Also, I didn't pull up any of the video on this, but if you want more info on what's been happening, what's been going on with the Build-A-Cade FU, be sure you check out Glenn's YouTube channel. Or even if you're on the Kickstarter, go to the Kickstarter, go to the updates page. He puts all the videos up on the updates page for the Kickstarter for all of you guys who've backed it. Or even if you hadn't, you can certainly check it out there, where he's been showing off some of the prototype stuff from his team over in China, showing off the rotating screen, showing off the 26-inch screen in the Build-A-Cade. That thing looks massive. It looks fantastic. God, it definitely makes it hard to decide which way to go. For me, this is something that I'm hoping that he'll do another run, that this is something that he'll continue to do over time, and I can get one at a later time, because I'm still leaning towards that 19-inch with the rotating screen. I just like the idea of it. But I gotta tell you, that 26-inch screen takes up the whole thing, and it looks pretty good. And I gotta even playing vertical games is probably going to look fantastic on it, just with the screen the way it is, and with the plexi that he has that goes over it, that's got like a tint, something of a tint to it. You literally can't see anything but the screen behind it. You're not going to see any mechanisms and anything. So I think it really is cool. Yeah, see, bigger is better. That's what she said. Of course, thank you, Jason. Always on the ball, putting up the links and everything in the chat. Of course, I usually go back when the show is done, and I put all the links in the description too. So if you're watching this on a replay, you can definitely check the description of the video for links for everything that I talk about on the show tonight. All right, so another thing that I want to talk about is Game and their Time Crisis console that they have coming out. Now, I think I told you guys on the last show that they were going to be at the Long Island Retro Gaming Expo, and they were there this past weekend, and I gotta say, I'm a little disappointed. Oh, not in the product. I think it looks fantastic, and I'm going to show you guys a little bit in a minute. I'm disappointed that I couldn't make it. I'm disappointed in me. Probably fooled you guys for a second there. No, it just, unfortunately, I had a prior engagement this weekend that I couldn't get out of. But it was something that was also very important, and I couldn't make it to the show. And I'm disappointed for a number of reasons. Yes, I would have loved to have seen Game and their product. I've had some email conversations back and forth with one of the people that was at the show talking about the product, so it would have been nice to have had a chance to actually meet her in the flesh. That new Intech gun was very interesting to me too. I would have loved to check that out. But even more than that, it would have been really cool to get to hang out with a lot of the people that were there this weekend. Brooklyn, if you're still in the chat, I know you were there. It would have been great to actually get a chance to meet you. Yeah, Ritual Dello, you were there, right? Definitely would have been awesome to meet you. Of course, I probably would have gone with Glenn Planamento and Glenn Baisley. We probably all would have gone together and hung out. But I know there were a lot of other people there. The Camercade was there. Just a ton of people. A lot of people, you know from YouTube or from the chat on other YouTubers' channels. But yeah, it was really cool, right? So what I wanted to do really quick is I just want to show off a little bit of video. First off, this is Brooklyn right here. Let me bring that up. So yeah, there he is. There's Brooklyn playing the Time Crisis console. Oh, and of course we're going to go into a damn commercials. Who are these YouTubers who put commercials all over their videos? Anyway, there, Brooklyn looking very serious playing this, for sure. But he looks like he had a really good time. He had a great video on this. Be sure you check out his video. And then, of course, there's my buddy Glenn. This was his video talking about it. There he is. There's the man. He just made a penny. Tell me about it, dude. Tell me about it. Jeez. But and the woman he's talking to from Game or GAIM, I always forget I really don't know how to pronounce it. I definitely would have asked her. Her name is Hina. I've been having some great conversations back and forth with her on email about this product, so I'm really looking forward to hopefully getting a demo unit of it at some point. But it's killing me that I didn't get a chance to meet these guys there. But guys, check out Brooklyn's video, check out Glenn's video. I'm sure there's other people who put some video out, And it just looks like a lot of fun, and definitely a product that I am going to continue to keep my eye on, and something that I am absolutely interested in. I hear this still has some work, but works pretty well. I don't know. From what they were showing, it looked like it was pretty much... yeah, yeah, like I said, I would have loved to have met both of those guys. Looked like it was pretty much, you know, ready to go. It's a little interesting that they've got the calibration thing set up where you've got to kind of calibrate. Like every time you turn the unit on, you're going to have to calibrate it. Not the worst thing in the world, but I guess I kind of understand with the way that this thing works, where it doesn't have any sensors or a border or anything like that. And, you know, the fact that, you know, you could be standing in, you know, in different locations to play it, different TVs, different height of the people playing it. So I guess I kind of understand, as long as it's not too, you know, too long or too arduous of a process, which it didn't look like from a lot of these videos. I'm sure it's going to be pretty cool. Hey, 19K Fox is here. Good to see you, buddy. Looks solid. I'm glad. Yeah, it does look really cool. So I'm definitely excited. Hopefully I will get a chance to see it. See, they said there's 75% there. Okay. All right. So they still have they do still have a little bit of work to go on. But I tell you, from what you guys were showing, it looks pretty solid. So if they still think they got to make tweaks and improvements to it, that means it can only get better. So that's really, really cool. B. Kirby is here. Always good to see you. It was good. We had a good time a week or so ago on the Cornercade show. So it was good to get a chance to be on screen with you and hang out for sure. They're still tweaking things based on feedback. Okay, cool. My friend Greg back to... Oh, okay. Nice. Nice. Very cool. Yeah, I'm excited about this product. I think it's going to be pretty cool. And this was a really good opportunity for them to be at the Long Island Retro Expo and have this thing out for people to try. To the best of my knowledge, this was their first showing of it in the U.S. So good for them. I'm glad that they had a good showing with it, and I hope everything progresses well for them. All right. So I wanted to bring this up. Let me find this a little bit. So I know my buddy Ritual Dello is still here in the chat. He's been pushing for this for a while. So I finally decided to make a slight change to the memberships on this channel. And no, nothing's changing in terms of pricing or anything like that, but I always just kept it very simple, and the membership was just called Support Me. You like the channel, you want to support me, 99 cents a month, support me. I try to throw some things, you know, the way of the memberships in terms of some, you know, video premieres so that they can see things first. I do shout outs at the end of some of my videos. You'll see a scrolling list of the members and all, but I'm changing things up a little bit. So instead of the membership tier just being called Support Me, you guys who are members are now going to be known as the Bilbarians. That's right. Huge shout out to Ritual Dello, who coined this a few weeks back, and I just thought it sounded really funny, really cool. So I came up with this logo. I'm not sure how I'm going to incorporate this logo into the membership. Yeah, I've got it as as like an emoji thing for you guys who are members when you chat and whatever, but it's going to look a little tiny. I had to figure out what I'm going to do with this. Maybe I'll even do some merch for this at some point if people really like it. Tell them about tell them about the members only. No, that is an exclusive perk just for P-Dubs. He's the only one I send those to. Just so you know. But yeah, so guys, let me know what you think. Do you like the name? Do you like the logo that I came up with? I think it looks pretty cool. But yeah, let me know what you guys And again, big shout out to Ritual Dello for coining that. I think it's pretty cool. Where's the action figure? That's the next thing I gotta do. I gotta get on that AI stuff and do one of those AI action figures for the Bilberians. That's definitely next. Oh, and look at that! Now we've got even more Bilberians, thanks to Jason Little Alien, who just sent out 10 show memberships. Buddy, thank you so much. Always appreciate you. Absolutely. And yeah, Mo, always good to see you, brother. Glad you are here. I'm gonna reach out. I gotta reach out to you at some point. We've been talking about doing something together, and I want to see if we can put something together sometime soon. But I will definitely reach out to you. But yeah, again, thanks so much, Jason. Definitely appreciate you doing that as always. All right, moving right along. Hit on a couple of other things really quick, and then get to the big stuff. Let's see, here we go. This is what I want. All right, so for all of you VR Walkabout Golf fans, and I told you, tomorrow's going to be a pretty big day because this is coming out tomorrow. You got it, brother. Oh, no, not another. Oh, okay, good. I thought I was going to go to an ad. So this is the new course for Walkabout Golf. Drops tomorrow. It's based on Tokyo, and I am so stoked for this one. This looks so cool. This looks like it is going to be so much fun. I really hope they do this well. I hope this is a good one for sure. Because again, I love Walkabout Golf. It's so much fun to play, especially when you're playing with other people. And I hope they do, like I said, I hope they do this one justice. Some of the other Passport ones they've done, like Paris and Venice and all, have been really, really good. Really enjoyed those. So I'm looking forward to this one being a really cool course too. And of course, being that I'm a huge, anime otaku, and I love a lot of things in the Asian culture, this one is 100% right up my alley. So definitely excited to check this one out. Great. Just what Tokyo needs, more disrespectful tourists. Oh, Zim's here. The real Zim. Again, not the fake Zim, but the real Zim is here, and it does look like fun. I hope we get a chance to play together tomorrow, or certainly over the weekend at some point. Oh, Steve, what am I gonna do with you? Having a yen for this course. Oh, that was so bad. It was wonderful. I loved it. Nate was watching the premiere of Sweet Revenge. Disappointed. Is that that YouTube or whatever, that Friday the 13th like prequel series that they came out with? Is that what that is? Not a big, it's definitely not something that is of super interest to me. But I know if you're if you're a Friday the 13th fan, it's too bad if it's disappointing. All right, where am I next? All right, continuing with the VR theme, because again, tomorrow, even more stuff. Of course, we know that Zen Studios is dropping their Williams Volume 9, which is going to include 3 tables. You're going to get an ad, is what you're going to get. That's the first thing that's going to happen, is you're going to get an ad in your YouTube videos. And we're going to skip that, and then we're going to move on to the real thing. So, of course, we're going to get Taxi, Whodunit, and Pinbot. And this is getting released all over the place. I'm definitely picking this up for Pinball FX VR because I definitely want to play this in the VR. I think this is going to be really cool there. But of course, if you play Pinball FX on Steam or Switch or even on your AtGames, and I'm going to get to AtGames in just a second, but this is actually dropping tomorrow for AtGames as well. After, the month of July where they kind of had to push a lot of stuff off, it's good to see that they're kind of back on track with things in July for releases, including this one coming out, day one release with all of the other consoles and VR and everything else. So I'm really happy that this is coming out. I think this is going to be really, really cool for sure. So, guys, be sure you check out Pinball FX Williams Pinball Volume 9 on your, device of choice. But speaking of AtGames, they've, like I said, so here we go. We've got the pinball pack for that. Drops tomorrow. $15 for that. Of course, this is just for the 4K machine for now. But again, if this is something, if you like playing these on your AtGames 4K, go ahead, check this out tomorrow. $15. In addition, they've also got another game coming out tomorrow, and that's Super Sonic Deluxe. Now, this is going to be available for both the HD and the 4K. $6 on HD, $7 on 4K. AtGames, again, kind enough to send out a code for this particular game for me to get a chance to review it on my HD machine. I was playing it a little bit tonight. Got to preview it a little early before it drops tomorrow, and I got to say, I think this one's a lot of fun. I think you guys are going to like this. Of course, I'll probably do a full review of it over the weekend when I get have the chance to really sit down and play it and record it and everything. But I think they did a good job with this one. I can't go too much into it because they always put an embargo on these things. There's only so much that I can really say until the embargo lifts tomorrow. I can show this because this is on their channel, so there's no problem with showing this. But again, it's not a flipper crazy table. It's got the 2 flippers at the bottom. It's got 2 on an upper play field. That's easy to distinguish, easy to get to. Nice open play field. It isn't too crazy, but there is still a lot of fun things to do on it. Still trying to learn it and all, but I'm having fun with it so far. So I think that it is going to be really, really cool. All right, let me catch up on the chat real quick, and then I'll get to the next thing. Oh. Ads make Bill so angry. I know. I'm trying to show you guys stuff. I got a limited time here. I ain't got time for ads. Jeez. But I'm glad you guys are having fun in the chat here. Yeah, work's been crazy for me. Zim, I know we talk about that sometimes when we're in Walkabout and all. Hey, Nerd Lounge Master is here. Awesome. And Ritual Dello is now officially a part of the Bilbarians. I don't have to figure out how to change that. Maybe that has to do with how it pops up to say the Bilbarians or something. I'm gonna have to look at that. But thank you, brother. Thank you for joining. Definitely appreciate it. All right, let's get on to the next thing, and we're gonna stick with AtGames, and then I'm gonna finish up with the Iconic Arcade stuff. So let me kind of run through this quick, because I know some of you guys have seen this already, but I did want to... I'm a cheap bastard. I'm not paying for YouTube Premium. So I'd have to deal with the ads. All right, so I know a lot of you have seen this already, so I wanted to just kind of throw this out there a little bit and talk about it. But this got leaked just a couple of days ago, and this appears to be an owner's guide for a brand new Legends CEHD, HDP, whatever, however they want to brand it, pinball machine themed after Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I gotta say, I'm really kind of interested in this, if I'm being quite honest. We know that, a lot of this is probably not finalized, in terms of artwork and stuff. People have already mentioned that the artwork on the back glass is from, I believe, the Data East Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from back in the 90s, so that's obviously not real. I do like the fact that it's got a separate DMD screen compared to what the current HD has, kind of like the 4K machine. Now, let me say this, all right? We know this is out there. We know this is leaked. I will tell you that the only thing that I know about this for sure is what I've been hearing other people say. According to people in the know, this is something that was either talked about as coming out or is real and is coming out. So hopefully, I got to talk about it because I got to talk about it. But hopefully all this talk about it isn't squashing the fact of this actually coming out in the future. I don't think it is. I don't think it will. If this, does turn out to be something that's real. But I got to say, no, that's not true. That's not true. Like, if you even look here on this benefits of ownership, it says, kick things off turtle style. This machine comes loaded with a totally tubular Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles inspired table. Want more? Expand your lair with legendary pinball tables from AtGames, including Zen Studios, Dr. Seuss, Taito, and more. All in Legends HDP format, available right from your device. So, from what I understand, this is actually supposed to have an RK3588 chipset in it, just like the 4KP does. So it's going to be capable of playing the same games. Now, of course, it's going to decrease the resolution down to 1080p instead of them being in 4K, but that is not necessarily a bad thing. Now, think about, all the talk and all the issues with lag and stuff that has kind of plagued the 4K machine since the beginning with the Zen Studios. Now, of course, they've done great strides on dialing that in and getting the lag down, probably about as low as it's going to get. But decreasing the resolution down from 2K, which is what the Zen tables are on the 4K machine, down to 1080p, they're going to play better. You're going to probably get less lag. You're probably going to get better response time on them because they're at a lower resolution. So I think the tables will play great on this, and it's again one of the reasons why I would actually consider this. Yeah, we know the backglass isn't real. It's the Data East picture. Yep. Yeah, so that's kind of a placeholder thing on this. Again, just to kind of go over this real quick, looks like, if they're working on this, then Magic Pixel is also working on a TMNT table, which this will come with. It may even be the only table that this comes with. You might have to buy everything else, Gottlieb tables, all that kind of stuff. Hopefully, if you're already an if you want to upgrade to this from HD, if you're already an HD owner like I am, hopefully all the tables you've already bought will come over to it. That's definitely a question that I would have about this if I were going to get this. Of course, you got your Pinball Net subscription, full App Store X access on this, Connect to Compete, all that kind of stuff on this. The fact that this is going to use a similar UI to the 4KP, hopefully that means that the e-store will be on this as well, just like with the 4K, so you'll actually be able to purchase tables directly on the machine without having to go through a website and get a code and everything. So that would definitely be cool. The table looks interesting. I can't really blow it up with the way I have it on here right now, but it looks interesting. Again, we'll have to wait and see if this is, a final thing on the actual table itself and all. One of the things I find interesting with this, and one of the things that lends a little bit of credibility to this, is the fact that they've got this here too, because they've talked about this. We already know that they've talked about the idea of having single pack games, even for games that were in multi-packs to begin with, for people to just buy the individual games and the individual tables that they want. And it's showing these at the $6 price that the HD tables are right now. If this was something old from like months and months ago, I would expect this to show the original price of $5, not $6. So this has got to be fairly recent. So that's something to, keep in mind as well. Of course, here's a look at the UI, and again, like Jason was saying here, entirely identical GUI. So it's going to look exactly the same as the UI on the 4K. Good or bad. If you like the one on the 4K, then you'll like this one. If you don't like the one on the 4K, you're not going to like this one. It's just, that's the way it is. I like the one on the 4K. I don't really have a problem with it from what I saw of it a while back and all. I think it looks pretty cool. I love this idea of being able to mark your favorites so you can get to them real quick and everything. But I got to say, I do think that this looks interesting. Now, here's one of the reasons why. So why don't they let HD owners buy and install the new chipset like they offered pre-order and canceled? They would sell a lot more tables. Okay, so that's what I was kind of gonna get to. That's kind of what I wanted to address a little bit. I was all in on that idea when they first came out with it. As a matter of fact, I did a video that was basically a cost analysis of why I thought it was such a good idea and why I thought people might want to consider doing it before they scrap the whole thing. Now, my understanding is that they wound up scrapping it because they were concerned that people wouldn't know what they were doing, for lack of a better term, and would break their machines if they went to install a new board and they did it wrong. And they didn't want the customer service nightmare of that. Now, technically, and I believe they put this out, if you open your machine up to do something like that, you're technically voiding the warranty, so you're kind of on your own anyway. But they knew it would be kind of a nightmare if they did that. Now, I don't think they're giving people enough credit. If I'm being honest, I'm sure there's lots of people there's people who've gutted their machines and put PCs in them. They know what they're doing and all. And that might not be everybody, but those who would want to do this probably would know what they were doing enough to get it done. Honestly, the real reason is probably they were hoping to sell to get more people to upgrade to the 4K tables and just buy a brand new machine. If I'm being quite honest, I have to think that that's really where it wound up going on this. Not even so much that they were afraid people now maybe that was part of it. Maybe it was part of it that they were afraid that people would break their machines, but honestly, it was probably more that they just wanted to sell new machines, which I'm not really putting them down for. They're a business. They got to make money, and unfortunately, I don't think they've sold nearly as many as they hoped they would to begin with. I do agree with this. I do agree with that. This could have been a new 2-screen model to cut costs. Yeah, yeah, they could have done that. Honestly, though, I like the fact that it's got the 3 screens on it. That's one of the things that keeps making me want to go to the 4K. Is I like the fact that DMD is separate. More and more, not to mention the fact of missing out on the Zen tables. So this is something that is definitely of interest to me if the price is right, or if these wind up going to like a Sam's Club and wind up going on sale at some point. Hey, Israel Gaming, good to see you. Good to see you, man. Sorry you're still at work, but glad you're tuning in. Because like I said, I was definitely all in on the idea of the upgrade path, of being able to get a new board and put it in the ALU. I 100% would have done that to my HD if they had gone that way. But seeing as they're not, to me, this is the next best thing without having to spend $2,000 plus on a 4K machine. Yes, the 4K looks good. I'm not denying that. The screen really does look nice on it. But do I absolutely have to have it in 4K? If this does the same job, plays the same games, even at a lower resolution, I'm actually kind of cool with that. And I'd be okay possibly picking up something like this. Again, it's going to depend on if it actually ever comes out, what the price range is on it. Do I think it'll, like I said, do I think I can get a good deal at Sam's Club? I mean, I bought my HD one for like $400 at Sam's Club when it went on sale because I wasn't going to pay $800 for it. So if this thing is, around that same price, maybe a little bit more, and there's a potential of it going $400 or $500 at a Sam's Club, might hold out for that. I'm pleased the third screen stayed on this model, but if it were more cost effective, I don't know how much more it would have saved. Maybe it would have saved a little bit. Obviously the screen itself, the board that they're using is obviously already capable of 3 screens, so I don't necessarily think that was a cost saving. But maybe you're right. But I do like the fact that it's got the third screen on it. This new HGP is just using all that unused DMDs from the unsold 4KPs, plus the old stock of playfields and back from the... who knows? Who knows? I agree with you. All right. Very cool. Very cool. I'm glad. Again, we'll have to wait and see if this is something that actually winds up coming out again. All I know is as much as I've heard from other people, and again, I know there are other people in the know. Jason seems to be pretty knowledgeable about this and where it's coming from for sure. I know my buddy Chaotic BPR. He seems to be pretty knowledgeable about this, but then again, he did work for AtGames at one point, so maybe he knows more than other people, and since he doesn't work for them anymore, he's under no obligation to keep things quiet necessarily. I don't know, unless he's got an NDA that's still in place for a certain amount of time after he left. I don't know. I do know that he's doing his Yo Retro show tomorrow with half a dozen, and this is definitely something that they're going to be diving into and talking about. So be sure to check them out for sure, because I do think that he probably, of most people here, has a pretty good knowledge about what is going on. I was playing Firefighter Wildlands on my HD today, and it looked just as good as it does on my 4KP, just missing the SSF and DMD, which this model sells. Yeah, that's the other thing is, if they offer the ability to put the SSF kit in this, slam dunk. Now, again, obviously that costs money, but again, you can always buy the machine and then upgrade to that at a later time if you want. So it would definitely be interesting to see what happens with this for sure. Nice upgrade for those with the older tables. Yep, good. So yeah, I mean, again, we'll have to wait and see. And as far as hopefully you bringing your tables, I can't imagine they wouldn't do that. I mean, you're going from one HD machine to another, as long as it's tied to your Legends ID and not the machine itself. Of course, if it is tied to the machine itself, I think you can take them off and put them on a different machine or whatever. So I think there are ways around that. The fact that it's a new board with a new chipset shouldn't matter, but I would be very disappointed if they come out with this thing and say, oh yeah, and because it's a new board, you got to buy all your games again. No, that for me is definitely a showstopper. I would not do. Now, if I bought now I understand it with the 4KP. If I went with the 4KP and I had to buy all new tables because they're all in 4K, it still sucks, but I get it. But going from one HD machine to another, you can request them back on your account off of the UU. Yeah. So I know there's ways to do it even if it's tied to the machine. Like I said, my point just being that because it's a new board with a newer chipset, I hope that still allows you to keep your tables. That's all. It's just a question I have. I'm assuming you can, but we'll have to wait and see. Hey, Joystick. Good evening, everyone. Just getting here. Didn't miss all the good stuff. Nope, you didn't miss all the good stuff. I did pretty much just finish talking about AtGames, and they're potentially releasing a new HD Ninja Turtles theme. So you want to rewind about 10-15 minutes, you'll get all of that. But as it's getting to about 8:45, I do want to hit on the final topic of the night and spend a little bit of time on this as well. And for this, I got to give a huge shout out to Michael B, the Game Genie, because what I'm about to show you is based on some stuff that he got from, I believe, from John D himself. He did a video on this earlier today, and then he was kind enough to post the pictures into his Discord, which is where I pulled them down from. So thanks, Michael B, for sharing this out. So it gives me an opportunity to have this and to show it to you guys. So for those of you who have no clue what I'm talking about, Iconic Arcade put out a couple of pictures today that show off basically what the UI is going to look like on their Street Fighter machines that are coming out later this year. Now, people are kind of wondering why now, and it might have a little bit to do with the fact that some YouTubers, who I may or may not name, have been kind of harping on this idea of we need to see more from Iconic. And the UI, for whatever reason, is something that keeps coming up as something that people really want to see. Now, there's other things that we want to see. There's other things that we want to know. No, that's in his other Discord. There's other things that we want to see and know. Obviously, we want to know more about, the screen itself and the controls, the final artwork. Did anything really change from the prototypes that they show, including like the where the power button is and all that kind of stuff? There's a lot of stuff that we want to see, but the UI was a big thing that people definitely wanted to see and talked about. Oh, James is here. James hates everything. 19K Fox also just dropped a bunch of info. The new cab dimensions, it's even bigger, basically full size width. Interesting. I will have to check that out later. Guys, be sure you go check out 19K Fox's channel after this and go see what he's put out there, because I'm not going to go try to look at it now while I'm doing this, but be sure you check him out as well and see what info he's got. But for now, let's do this. Let's show off these pictures. I increase the size on that. Let me decrease it just a little bit so you guys can see this. So this is a look at what the UI for the screens is going to look like on the Iconic Arcade. And from what I understand, the concept behind this is almost like a Netflix or a streaming style of look and feel. Now, don't read too much into that comparison to Netflix. These games are on the cab. As far as I know, the games for this are locally on the cab. They're not streaming over Wi-Fi or anything like that. It's just kind of mimicking the look of something like a Netflix, where you've got categories and different things that you can kind of scroll through and see your games. And as you can see here, you can see the action category here. They're showing Final Fight, Captain Commando, Knights of the Round, and then some mystery game right here, which is still locked. Now, I don't know if this means that there's going to be just yeah, okay. Now I'm going to check it out for myself afterwards too. There's a mystery game here that we don't really know what this is. Is this something that they're just not ready to show off yet? Is this something that's going to be unlockable some way on this? Does this mean that you're going to be able to maybe purchase and download more games to this, or kind of like I said, like a Netflix streamer? They'll add games to it over time. We'll have to wait and see. I still, I'm going to be honest. Maybe I still haven't figured this one out. I know what the next one is that I'm going to show you. I figured that one out, and I pretty much got confirmation I was right. This one, I had guessed King of the Dragon or King of Dragons. That's not it, but it's in the same vein from what I understand. It might be one of the D&D games. Be a little weird for them to put one D&D game here and not the other one, so we'll have to wait and see what it is with that. I'm not sure. Maybe some other people have figured it out. Yeah, you're beating me to the punch. You're beating me to the punch. Let me show you the other screen. Nope, not that screen. This screen. I went the wrong way. So this is the other screen. And this is a look at the shooting category. We already know 1944, GigaWing 2, and Pro Gear is on this. They've also got another mystery one on this, which I am almost 100% positive at this point is the original GigaWing. You can see if I can kind of move this down and blow this up. You can really, right here, you can really make out the logo for the original GigaWing. Right here. And then, of course, if you go and you look up, GigaWing and some images and whatever, this whole thing kind of fits right into like a promo pic for it. So, pretty much sure that is the capabilities of downloading games is there. What games and how many isn't yet public? So we'll have to wait and see. Now, I'm wondering, is this kind of, if that's the case, if they're planning on possibly adding more games over time that you can unlock with, buy new games to add to it or whatever, is this kind of their way of keeping this machine active and basically keeping people from the idea of just loading this up with their own games? Because, look, it's a Raspberry Pi in this thing. It's a Raspberry Pi 5. You can... Oops, sorry. Like most people didn't already figure it out. Listen, you could certainly put your own SD card into this, I would assume, and run, Batacera or something with your own games on this. You could turn this, you could buy this thing and turn it into your own multicade with every game in the world that you want on it. I'm sure that's a possibility. But my guess is there are people who probably want to figure out, how do I just add games to what's already there? How do I keep stock, the stock UI, the stock games, and just add stuff to what's already there? And one of my contentions with people wanting to see the UI is maybe they thought they were going to see something that would maybe kind of lead them to that thought process, lead them to believe that there was maybe a simple way that they could do that. I don't see anything like that here, although I will say, if the idea here is that they're going to continue to add games over time, then maybe they're trying to combat the idea of people just throwing out the stock UI and the games that are on this and putting their own on here anyway. Yeah, it would be cheaper than buying games to put on here, but it's also easier to buy games and put it on here than to fool around with your own Raspberry, your own version of Batacera or whatever. Like, if you don't know how to do that stuff, if you don't know how to do like a Raspberry Pi build for games with stuff, it's not necessarily that easy. If you know what you're doing, then it's a piece of cake. Or if you want to buy one off of somebody, you could certainly do that as well. But we'll have to wait and see. Guys, let me know. What do you guys think of these UI leaks that we've seen today? Do you like it? Is it not the style you thought it was going to be? Were you hoping for something more like an arcade 1-up look and feel to this? I'd be curious to see what you guys have. Oh, look at this. Look at this. Who's in the chat? Hey, chat, been too long. if there's the new games, then I guess the advantage over adding your own games is that these bonus games would have online multiplayer and leaderboards. See, there you go. There you go. Kind of exactly what I was just saying. If you can add your own, if you can download games to this that are already set to go with the infrastructure that they have in place for this, then you get that benefit of leaderboards, of online play built in without having to go, again, unless you know what you're doing with Raspberry Pi, RetroArch, all that kind of stuff. You could certainly do it. You could certainly do it. But it's a lot easier to use something that's built specifically for this machine and whatever. And, of course, be legally licensed. Wait, hold on, James. Are you saying that the people who make these builds with 10,000 games on them don't legally own them? I am finding that hard to believe. That is a salacious comment, and I will not have it in my chat. But in all seriousness, Media One Up LLC, whoever you might be behind that keyboard, thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. I appreciate you coming in and chatting with us on this. This thing was amazing looking in person, and it's looking even better. Yeah, look, I like it. It's not what I expected, if I'm being honest. Like I said, I thought it would more be like maybe like an Arcade 1-Up style UI, or maybe even like our Batacera type UI. I know Bobby Vu's very involved in this. I know he loves that kind of style of things and whatever. So to go with more of this Netflix streaming style look, not what I expected on an arcade machine, but I don't hate it. I definitely don't hate it. That's for sure. You do be dedicated. You insert your own. Yeah. I can't see this thing being where you can kind of switch back and forth. If you want to switch back and forth between the built-in and your own, you're going to have to swap SD cards. That's the only way you're going to wind up doing it. Double Dragon, wasn't that just for the show? We'll see. We'll see. I mean, listen. We've all been starving for any little bit of news for a long time now. So it's great to finally see some news coming out, especially from Iconic. It's good to see them come out with that survey for the artwork on the Street Fighter 2 cab. From what I understand, they're close to picking. It sounds like they're close to picking the one that it's going to be. Good to know that they're still on track for October, even if the October shipping means shipping from China to here to get it into people's hands before the end of the year. That's still pretty good, considering what's been going on with a lot of stuff lately. It's still pretty good that they are able to make that, to be able to get that over here. I know a lot of people were probably hoping they'd be over here and be shipping to people's homes by October. But if they can at least make the October, deadline of shipping them from the manufacturer to here, I think that's going to go a long way towards people. Now we're seeing a little bit of the UI. I have a sneaking suspicion that more information is going to continue to trickle out over the next few weeks, over the next couple of months, leading up to the launch of this. We'll finally, we'll get some more info. Again, apparently 19K Fox knows the dimensions on this thing. Hope we'll get more info on, some of the controls and things like that. Maybe we'll even get more teasers for more games. Again, this UI just showed two categories: action category and shooter category. We know Street Fighter's got to be in a fighting category. Maybe there's other categories. We know the Super Puzzle Fighter is out there. I can't remember if that was going to be included on this. I don't think so, but it's certainly one that could be a possibility for a puzzle category. Who knows? There could be any number of categories on this thing with any number of mystery games that we haven't seen yet. So it's all good. It's nice to finally get to see some stuff come out from them, and I'm just excited to see more from a lot of these companies. It's going to be really cool to just continue with the news. JJ, that's what I was saying. If you don't have the chops to build your own SD card full of games. Am I still alive, guys? Because YouTube's doing weird stuff to me right now. Hopefully you guys can still hear me all right, because I'm going to wrap up in a couple of minutes anyway. I doubt they're going to let you sideload your own games to what's already there, because I have a funny feeling that that's going to be like a licensing breach with Capcom, if you can do stuff like that. But yeah, just look, there's nothing... unless they've done something to the Raspberry Pi to lock it down so that you can't put your own SD in there, which I'm not even sure if that's possible, then there's certainly nothing to stop you from doing that and having your own games on it that way. But again, if this is something, if they're going to continue to add to this, if there's going to be ways to legally purchase and add games to this on an ongoing basis, and I think that helps possibly keep people from necessarily wanting to do that. But anyway, guys, let me stop the show here because I know it's been an hour. I always try to keep things to an hour. I know that Arcades Anonymous is live or going live very soon. I will have the show set to redirect over to those guys if you want to stick around and watch them. And if you want to go check out 90K Fox's video to see what he has to say, yeah, absolutely. This is a licensed product, so just something you got to keep in mind when you start thinking about these things. And go check out 90K Fox. Go check out Michael B's video that he did earlier today on this as well. Again, huge shout out to Michael B and to Media One Up LLC for putting out those pictures. Thank you guys so much for giving us a little tidbit, little snippet of what we can expect. Guys, have a good night. Hope you enjoyed the show. Thanks again to the new Billbarians, the members of the channel. Definitely appreciate you guys being there for me as we move forward. And yeah, I'll see you guys next week. Have a good one.